All right, for segment 1 today, we are kicking off our new series of the Year of Palladium books. At least we think it's going to be a year. Come back in 4, 5, 6 months, see if we're still doing this or if we're burned out. But we're going to do the Year of Palladium books, and we decided that we're going to start with the first ever Palladium game. Why not? Now, my question for Heathen Dog is, have you ever played this? And I don't mean the Rifts version, I mean this version.
This version? No, I played the Rifts version. Okay. Sourcebook 2, I think it is, for Rifts is the Mechanoid deal.
No, I cannot put that video on YouTube because I will get immediately kicked off of YouTube forever and a day. You'll know why if you listen to to that video. So yes, we start with the I wish I could. So with the Mechanoid Invasion trilogy, Kevin, I never learned how to say his name properly. I look at it and I say Sime Beta because I went to school with somebody with the name Sime, spelled the first part of it, and somebody named Beta with the last part of it. So I'm putting those together. If that's not right, then he can yell at me. But Kevin Simbita put, he didn't like what he saw in Dungeons and Dragons, kind of started making his own system. We're going to actually go through a bunch of that today. And he came up with for his first game, the Mechanoid trilogy. Some people think that Palladium Fantasy is the first game. That is not true. It is this one.
Yep.
So let's share.
Fun fact, I grew up 1.5 miles away from the Palladium headquarters.
Yes. I think you should go there and raid him sometime.
And I still live within 40 minutes of them.
Share screen. Not that one, not that one, not that one, not that. Oh, I can't. What? I can't share that screen anymore like that? Fine. Jerk. This.
Oh, we're all waiting.
No, yeah, it's not. It's showing my one screen twice. There you go. I had to reconfigure it. Configure is a word, by the way.
It is. I heard.
Once it's on the internet, it's real.
Yep.
I haven't used PDF in a while. How do I make this stupid thing pretty much full screen? I know there's a button for that. Is that it? No. Read mode. There it is. Oop. All right.
Now make it bigger.
Can I F11 that thing? Well, I'm showing off the cover first and my watermark. All this crap can go away. What is that? Oh, I didn't want that. I want read mode. I usually do this stuff through browser. No, PDF's better. I can't. That's too late now. Okay, so the Mechanoid Invasion trilogy. So the first thing to know about this book is that it was actually in 3 parts. 3 very chaotic, not sequential parts.
No, and it had errors every 3rd sentence. It had a typo. It had spelling error. It had a grammatical error. It was you could say it was rushed, and you wouldn't be wrong.
Kevin CMBA, that might be right. Like I said, I'm putting it together because I knew a girl. She was really hot in high school. That's how you spelled her last name, and it was Sime. And then I had another friend, acquaintance, whose last name was actually Beta. Now, we want to call him Bida, but he said it was pronounced Beta, so I don't know. Maybe you might be right. I hear Kevin say it all. I'm not trying to mess with his name. Why I hate zombies? I'm just bored of them. My God, can we do anything other than a zombie? There are 3 things in life that I'm very bored of when it comes to nerd hobbies. Number 1 is zombies. Anything to do with zombies, I'm done with. Vampires are very close, but zombies. Number 2, quoting, what the hell is that stupid spoof King Arthur movie? Trying to purge it from my mind. Monty Python, The Holy Grail. That nonsense. And I already forgot what the 3rd one is. So anyway, we'll move on.
Embiggen it.
I will embiggen it.
Shit.
I don't care. It's for us, not them, right? Oh, wait. No, that's wrong. All right. Content warning. Yeah. Don't care.
It's got violence. Yes. Mechanoids are very violent. If you are a humanoid, they are basically Palladium Daleks. Palladium Daleks. That's basically what they are.
All right. First printing, as seen 1981.
Yep.
And here are not all, but most of his copywritten words. He actually has a website of all his copywritten words, which is why my game looks very different, because I'm not using any of his copywritten words. If I remember correctly, most of this art was done by Kevin himself. Yeah, it says interior artist. Maybe all of it then. Oh, additional. Okay, there. This scrolls really slowly, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. A bit of Palladium history, and we are going to go through this. We are doing this as a read through, not every single word, but what you expect from a read through. We're not going to be done with this book today. We're doing it in our normal format because we want to show off what this game was. Just want to talk about. Oh my god, this scrolling is slow as hell. Can I page down this thing? Oh yes, I can. There we go. We start with a little bit of a cartoon here, a comic, cartoon, whatever you want. You know what? Words are my friend. It's Sunday. I had to worry about a tree crashing in my neighbor's shed. Leave me alone. Like the bloody scythe of death, the red giant rises above the planet Gideon E. Why is it E? Is it because it's the fifth planet out?
Could be.
The silver domes, not domes. The silver domes and spires of the colonies lay mangled and lifeless, crushed under the merciless heels of the new masters. Masters as cold and unfeeling as the machines that maintain them. A malevolent force wrought in the pits of hell. This is our story, a grim opus of life and death. This is the coming of, boom, the Mechanoids. Okay, do you want to do a little bit of this history? Or you want me to start with it?
I'll do it.
Okay.
All right. This is seemingly Kevin talking to us. So
You don't have to do every paragraph. If just something sticks out to you, go ahead and.
Right. Back in 1979, I got tangled up with a group of role players. We helped to create the Detroit Gaming Center. And dissatisfied with parts of D&D, I went on to develop my own set of role-playing rules for my fantasy campaign. My regular, massive group of players, 18 regulars plus 8 semis, loved the campaign, stories, and new rules so much they kept telling me I should try and get it published by TSR or Judges Guild or one of the many role-playing game companies that were springing up like crazy. In 1979 and 1980, I shot my fantasy game around to everybody in the industry. Only Judges Guild showed the slightest interest, but their offer was appalling, even for that day and age. $500 cash and 2% royalty that would slide down to 1 after 10,000 copies were sold.
This is why RPG designers don't get rich and why WotC does stupid stuff like catering to the masses instead of to people who actually play games.
Yep. And he wasn't about to sell his game for some chump change, so went back to the home, figured just enjoy the game, blah, blah, blah. But, he decided, hey, let's try and publish it myself. Initially rejected this idea because while I had a publishing experience, I was pretty poverty stricken and I haven't even considered the idea until they mentioned it. They bombarded me for months with reasons why I should publish it myself, blah, blah, blah. Oh my God, you got to do it. I had been bitten by the publishing bug way back in 8th grade when Alex and I did our first comic book fanzine. I began to give it some serious thought. Problem was he had no money.
Well, which is story of everybody's life, right?
Yeah. So many damn errors. My family was poor and I was struggling freelance artist, barely making ends meet. I had a clear idea of how I wanted to do what would eventually become the Palladium fantasy role-playing game, but that required a minimum of $10,000, a fortune beyond my reach. Of course, this only made things more challenging, and I always welcome challenges. So I was going to do this. I'd have to start small, work my way up. Yeah, self-publishing was the way to go.
Which considered, there's no Amazon back then. There was no drive-through RPG, no DM's Guild or whatever else that you could just throw your stuff on and say, there we go, buy my crap.
Yep. And so he decided instead of going with the regular book, to recognize a new trend in other areas of publishing that used what was called the trade paperback format, large, often 8.5 by 11 softcover books with square spines. It was 80% cheaper than a hardcover book and about 200% cheaper than a box game. Unfortunately, it was still out of my reach. It would take 2 years of building before Palladium could afford to go that route. To get started, I have to find an even cheaper alternative. He did comic books, so he drew on that experience, and he could print 5,000 to 6,000 copies of a 48-page comic book size and format saddle stitch book with a single cover, printed on newsprint for about $3,000. Saving every nickel he could muster over a year's time, he only had $1,500. Mrs. Lobes, bless her soul, agreed to lend me the other half of the money with the promise that she'd get her money back in 2 years plus a royalty based on the profit. Her trust and confidence in me and my venture gave added motivation. She's probably long gone now. Rest her soul.
I'm guessing she got her money back.
She probably did, yeah. So I'm not going to read everything else, but the big thing is This came out in 3 books. The first book sold enough to make the next 3, and the next 2. The next 2 sold enough to give him enough money to get a quote unquote real book started with the whole 10 grand, and then gave birth to the Palladium fantasy role-playing game. But
If
this was still the first.
Considering this era, if somebody were to come to me with this pamphlet with a whole bunch of typos, I would say, hey, you should probably correct as many of those as you could. I wouldn't freak out as much as I would on, modern publishing. But with everything between the internet now, people clamoring to be an artist or an editor or whatever, there's really no excuse for it today. And in fact, I've already found a couple of typos in this book. Point being is that it was still based on the original. I'll forgive that. No matter what, if you have a book this big, I don't care who writes it, it's going to have mistakes in it. The problem for me, and maybe with Heathen Dog, if you go through like our Castles and Crusades one, is when the mistakes are consistent. Because you can tell when, oops, there's a mistake, and wow, this person doesn't know what he's doing. Like every single paragraph has the same problem. Have you heard of a comma? So, but if I got a pamphlet and it's all in black and white, here, play my game, I wouldn't be so critical of it. No, so I can forgive that his first game was, and when you look at the history of how he had to get his money together, how publishing worked then, I can't fault him for having a lot of typos in it. Not in that first edition, anyway.
No.
So, all right, the story behind the Mechanoid invasion is one of survival and heroism in the face of seemingly indestructible enemy and imminent death. The good guys were human colonists from Earth. The bad guys, the Mechanoids, alien cyborgs driven by an insane hatred for all bipedal, humanoid, human-like beings perpetuated through a collective memory genetically passed on to each new generation. Did Stargate steal his idea?
Probably so.
I wanted the Mechanoids to be very different. Well, very alien compared to humans. But therein lies the irony. The Mechanoids were once human themselves. Transfigured through genetic manipulation, they became mutants so far removed from their human roots that they became their own unique race. Rejected and feared by their human kin and creator, the Mechanoids grew to despise humanoids and destroy them wherever they are discovered. Oh, discovered. There's a period there.
Yep.
In the case of our human colonists on planet Gideon E, they were regarded as insignificant playthings to be tortured and tormented. So humans were ants before being destroyed.
And Mechanoids were kids with magnifying glasses.
Right. Or tweezers to pull the wings off of flies. Yep. The power of the Mechanoids is so great that they can strip mine entire planets to the extent of extracting every resource, dicing a planet into tiny pieces, and literally devouring it. Oh, it's Unicron.
Yeah, basically, they have giant world ships that can actually, harvest an entire planet, even its core, for power, and then move on to the next one.
Wired guy, or I keep calling him Wired guy. I keep thinking Wired Doggy, my former roommate. Weird guy. While true, I can tell you that my mother did a lot of typing on a typewriter for various reasons, and she always kept books next to her that made sure she spelled things correctly. And so, sure, for somebody like this that's just trying to get something out, yeah, but I don't exactly accept that excuse. But I do get where you're coming from. Oh, that's guessing that's a Mechanoid. I'm not going to read all this. Unfortunately, many gamers and critics at the time saw the game as a dead end, anticlimactic, and pointless. Gee, what's the point? Everybody's going to die, so why waste your time? It's depressing. Well, have times changed?
Yeah.
I would try to counter such criticism with the fact that the game was a trilogy, so obviously there's more to the story, and the characters don't know for certain that everybody is doomed. Certainly there must be a slim chance of survival. Of course, every good story has that slim hope.
Yeah, you have to have hope. Right up until the very, very end, when you realize that hope was a lie all along.
Oh yeah, Mar Hawkman. My mom actually had the printer ink that if you held down the shift key or something, or there's a key on there, it would raise it up. Yeah, and had the white ribbon underneath the black ribbon. Yep. Certainly there must be some. Unfortunately, this fell upon deaf ears. Although some gamers and critics absolutely loved the game, making it something of a cult classic. If I recall, I don't care. Oops, jeez, PDF man. Book 2, The Journey, would offer the human colonists only one certain chance for survival. Now that bothers me. I don't like it when there's only one, but then again, I may not be understanding what that
only
means.
one certain chance of survival. Everything else is a crapshoot. This one, you're going to live, but you're not going to like it. Go ahead and read what it is. You're not going to like it.
Okay. To dare to board the giant mechanoid mothership. Not as a vengeful army or conquering heroes, but as tiny mouse-like stowaways living between the walls of the massive alien vessel. Why am I picturing Stargate and the Wraith? Stargate Atlantis.
Definitely. Yeah. I mean, look, if the Wraith were, like the Borg.
There you go. We should have used that yesterday when playing Star Trek. Should have beamed me over.
There you go.
Now, Book 3, Homeworld would see the human stowaway arrive on the Mechanoid's home planet. Oh, now we're doing Battletech. This book, hey, would you get off my screen, jerk? This book added alien races, other victims of the Mechanoids, as well as the Mechanoids' insect allies, the the Dione. And some unexpected twists. All right.
What a twist.
What a twist. There we go. Its success put Palladium on the map. Licensed properties such as Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Robotech were huge successes. Actually, my first two games in the other order, but my first two Palladium games. Robotech first and then TMNT. And of course, we now have, by the way, the material in the Mechanoid Invasion Trilogy have always been easily adaptable to TMNT, Heroes Unlimited, Robotech, and now Rifts. A warning from the author. Blah, blah, blah. Comes from a different time and place. SDC and hit points are different, et cetera, et cetera. You asked for this, you got it. There you go. That's pretty much what he puts in there.
Yeah.
Mechanoids covers vehicles. So conversion. You said you wanted to talk about conversion notes. I was going to kind of skip over this, but if you want to talk about it, go ahead.
Let's see. The Mechanoids, alien races, vehicles, weapons, equipment, and other materials in the Mechanoid Invasion Trilogy are fun to adapt and incorporate to other Palladium systems. There's some notes for Heroes Unlimited and other hit point and SDC-based RPGs. Body armor SDC. Most SDC and armor rating stats remain unchanged. However, for use in a superhero environment and other advanced high-tech settings, the GM may find it appropriate to increase the SDC listed by 30 to 50%, especially for the Mechanoids. In fact, Mechanoids like the Overlord, Oracle, Digger, and Mantis could see their SDC doubled if this campaign. The reason being is because in Heroes Unlimited and high power games like that, SDC totals are much higher on average. So to keep the Mechanoids a threat, you would have to convert them up as well.
So just to answer a little bit of chat here, there's one on here. So playing a Palladium game is like finding the exact build to destroy the game balance, e.g. Turtles. Nope, Turtles didn't do it. Nope, Weasels did it. Weasels destroyed Ferrets and Weasels because of that huge bonus they got to PP plus the other ones. Physical prowess for you weirdos out there. I didn't have a problem with Turtles just because they had armor rating. That didn't bother me at all. But oh my god, any Weasel was like, because of course that character had to roll a 24. Oh look, I now have a 30 PP. Great, everybody else has a 15. Good job. But yeah, I mean there were some animals. I always made people in my TMNT games. You didn't pick your animal. You rolled it randomly, and if anybody complained, don't play. I don't care. I had enough people. I didn't worry about that. You're not coming to me with a character. And then the other one was there's initiative in this one. There was one other I wanted to look at here. Battletech, Robotech. So that was actually kind of my order as well. I technically played D&D first, but as for games I got into, Battletech, because it wasn't a role-playing game, I could easily sell that through the Satanic Panic. Then Robotech and TMNT, because by the time I played TMNT, I think the cartoon was just about to come out, or was just about whatever. And Robotech didn't look like, evil demons and so forth. I didn't show her the invid.
Yeah, not a good plan. Not a good plan.
Yeah,
but it goes on to other stuff. Magic in the original Mechanoid trilogy, there was no real magic. Not like of Palladium today. They didn't have magic. But if you want to convert it to Rifts or Heroes Unlimited, stuff like that, then people from the Mechanoid universe can learn magic. Mechanoids cannot. They are psionic creatures. And if you want to convert to mega damage, you definitely can. You can either use this right here. Use this.
Cybormen.
Yeah.
Cybormen.
Cybormen. Not Cybermen, Cybormen. or you can buy the Rift's source book too, and it does all the conversion for you. It has all of the same flavors of Mechanoid, but converted to MDC.
Mark Hockman, he might not have created the word droid, but he owns it. That's why Battle Droids was changed to Battle Tech, because FASA or Jordan Weissman or Randall Bills, somebody in there got sued. Also, not Amazon, Android, when you remember those droid commercials from like 10 years ago, had to pay him a lot of money for the word droid in order to use that in those commercials. All right.
And then it goes on to convert to psionics if you're converting to a Rifts environment or a Heroes Unlimited environment. They have minor, major, and master psionics, and then in the original Mechanoid trilogy they didn't have that. They just had psionics or not psionics. So it gives you minor, major, and master. It tells you exactly the Overlord is a master psionic, and all Mechanoids have at least some psionic ability because they were genetically modified to be smarter and have these abilities because they were necessary. Do you want me to tell the story of the Mechanoids now or later?
No. We're going through the books, and if the book doesn't tell it, then the book doesn't tell it. It's so. Right. The layout and format notes essentially say he kept it as close as possible to the original. There's a couple of format changes because of that. The original books were in smaller, whatever, but the typos and most of that still remain. Couple of changes. I don't know where those changes were because I don't have the originals. It doesn't really matter. What I really like about what he did with this book, though, is he puts his own commentary in here. It's like it's an annotated version of the book as well in certain places.
It's got DVD extras.
Yeah, there you go. $375. Oh, that was another reason we skipped that. Oh, this is definitely more sci-fi. Yes.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, this is a sci-fi campaign to fund the fantasy one that he really wanted to do.
So he said one of the complaints that he got, and we skipped over that part, was that the book was only $375, and people are like, well, if your game's under $5, how good could it be? His playtesters. This is the original group. Eric, R.I.P. All right, here we go. Now we're going to get to the meat. The Mechanoid Invasion, Book 1, How to Play. And the plan today is to get through this section the O.C.C.s. We'll see how much time we have after that, but I think we'll start psionics next week.
Okay.
Find out. Remember, the following text and rules are the original 1981 text, and it is different than present-day material. Remember, too, you guys are fans. You asked for this old stuff, so you got it. I'm glad. No, no matter what I may think about these rules, which I have no opinion on it yet, I'm glad. I always like to see where the original comes from. Kind of like how you're doing your Shadowrun series. You're showing where the original came from.
Right.
All right. What do you need? You need 2 or more players. You need a game master, 2 to 6 6-sided dice, 1 or 2 20-sided dice, and 2 10-sided dice for rolling percentile. Paper and pen for notes and charts, and an imagination. The game master, we know what a game master is. The game master should always try to play fairly, never playing favorites or snuffing out those he dislikes. Boo. I mean, great. Game masters, the players are in your hands. Mold an adventure they will enjoy. Brief word on the dice. I love these long explanations of dice. Hit points. All right. Hey, get back there. To determine the amount of hit points a character has, you simply take the number rolled for physical endurance as the basic hit points. Each additional level, which is funny that says additional here, but in the modern version, it starts at level 1.
Mm-hmm.
For each additional level experience obtained, roll of 1 6-sided die is added to the hit point base. Hit points apply to living creatures and are used as a measure of physical endurance. When a character loses all of his hit points, he is dead. Wow, that's rough. Like, if I roll the 13 PE and I take 13 points of damage, I'm kaput. End of story. Unless you're level 2, right? Then I rolled that 1 and I have 14 because that's my luck. Physical hit points come into play when the unprotected character is involved in hand-to-hand combat, torture. Oh, there you go. Let's just get right out to it. Hand-to-hand combat, torture, drugs, or other conditions harmful to the human body. I love the fact that you can use terms like this and just be upfront with it. This game is going to hurt you. And you know what? The bad guys are bad guys. Hey, stop that. It is important to note that the character's hit points are in addition to STC points his armor or vehicle might provide. Yes, that is one thing as I read through this that was, wow, okay. SDC, that's just for your armor,
Yes.
not for you.
No, they don't have SDC yet as a living person.
Physical SDC. Yeah, whatever. I hate that term. Okay, characters by hit points and SDC. When a character receives damage from an attack or accident, oops, boom, again, he understands players. Players are going to step on mines. What's this red button do? Boom, there's your accident. That the damage is first subtracted from the protective armor or vehicle he may be in. This protection above and beyond his hit. Oh, this protection is be above and whatever. Oh, this protection, comma, above and beyond his hit points are called SDC or structural damage capacity. Only after the armor has taken damage beyond its SDC does the player begin to subtract. So essentially, you're wearing the armor. That takes the damage first. There's a caveat to that, but that takes the damage first, and then you take the damage. I mean, that's kind of why you're wearing the armor, right?
Yeah. Armor in this game is all ablative. It all, absorbs damage, but in doing so breaks apart, slowly becoming less useful.
Right. A character in light battle armor, SDC of 72, is hit by a plasma bolt, taking 74 points of damage. The light battle armor protects the character from most of the blast, absorbing 72 points. It's maximum. The remaining 2 points of damage are subtracted from the character's personal hit points. You know what? If somebody one-shots me for 74 and my armor is 72, I'm walking away. Like, that was fun fight. You win. I'm out.
Well, you're probably running away at that point.
Fair. Yeah. I'd be a lot lighter. See, the remaining 2 points damage subtract from the character's personal hit points. Hit points may be regained through medical aid and rest. Because the light battle armor has taken its maximum amount of damage, it is destroyed and will provide no further protection. Right. You just melted off my armor. Thank you very much. I got the message. I will be leaving now. Consequently, any additional damage is subtracted from the character's hit. Well, yeah, character dies when all the hit points are used up. This is the first actual good, technically correct sentence. Psionics and hit points. Now, this will make sense when I read this. Certain psionic attacks, such as mental bolts of force, evil eye, pain, and evil eye, etc., 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 etc. Oh, sorry, evil eye, pain, evil eye, death. So it's like finger word, or no, power word. There we go. It's like power. Despite the type of external body armor an opponent might be utilizing, such damage is subtracted directly from the victim's hit points. Your mental attack does not hurt his armor. It hurts the person. Bye-bye. So you can melt somebody right inside the armor. Neutron bomb that thing. Yeah, with your brain. Neutron bomb that thing, right?
Yep.
With the use of high technology devices, suits and vehicles are employed as aids, protection, and weapons by more fragile creatures. Well, I would consider humanity fragile. These devices can take considerably more physical punishment than carbon life forms. Thank you for the term carbon in there, I guess. Maybe silicon life forms can take more? I don't know.
Well, yeah, they're harder. They're much more sturdy.
There you go. This added endurance is classified as SDC. The SDC number indicates just how much damage device machine can sustain. What I didn't like about this paragraph, when I read it the first time, it's like, didn't you already describe this? It's like you're describing it again in a completely different way. If you wanted to make a subcategory of it, you should have just put this underneath it. And I'm oversimplifying it, but I'm not complaining. It's just one of those things that I've read. It's like, you already explained this. Why are you doing it again? You could have added a new character or something in here. God damn it. I hate this PDF. Just jumping to the next page. Armor rating. The armor rating indicates a likelihood of hitting and penetrating, look at that, all italicized, a target to inflict damage. This is determined by the roll of a 20-sided die, just like every other attack, by the way. The higher the armor rating, the greater the protective armor or force field, and the more difficult to penetrate and do damage. Example, the Mechanoid skimmer has an armor rating of 11. This means the player must roll an 11, matching the AR of the skimmer, or better, 12 through 20, just in case you didn't know what better was, on a 20-sided die to hit and do damage. I think this is passed on. This is the same as it is now, right? Like, this rule hasn't changed, has it?
In Heroes Unlimited, they have two different kinds of armor rating. They have natural armor and
but just for the armor you wear.
For armor you wear, if you get if you get less than the armor rating, it does damage to the armor. If you greater than the armor rating, it bypasses the armor and does damage to you.
What are they saying in chat? So Right, so you do mega damage, but can't knock down a wooden door because SDC is French. What?
Don't know what
What
that
I
means.
missed?
We're not. There's no mega damage in this game yet.
Yeah, there is no mega damage, and mega damage. 1 point of mega damage just rips up SDC like it's not even there. Also, there's no armor rating for mega damage.
No.
So it hits, it does damage. End of story. That's just the way it works. All right, and there are some examples here of armor ratings. Armor rating 2. Is this before the 5 was required? Huh.
Looks
That's armor rating 2. I need to roll a 2 or better to hit you. Really? Wow. All the way up to AR 15, SDC 150. So this thing, you have to roll 15 or better to damage the person inside. If you roll a 5 to 15, 2 to 15, what, I don't know. We'll find out hopefully later. If you roll under a 15 but still hit, yeah, it comes off of this SDC right there.
Right. The 150, right.
The dodge, not dodging or dodge.
Nope. The dodge.
The dodge. The dodge is simply the ability to outmaneuver an attack. This applies to hand-to-hand combat as well as vehicle maneuverability. The dodge, I think there's supposed to be a period there. The dodge is simple. If a person knows an attack is coming, that rule has changed just a touch in future editions, but it's similar. He's alert and ready to attack or dodge. However, you cannot both attack and dodge simultaneously. If a player chooses to dodge an attack, he forfeits his attack that melee round. Just you notice a big difference between later editions?
Yeah, you only have the one attack.
Yeah.
You have the one action, and if you dodge, well, that's what you did.
Ain't no boxing in this version.
Nope.
To dodge, a player must announce his intention in advance. So, hey, what are you doing this round? Dodging. All right, what are you doing, heathen dog? Nothing, because he's dodging. No.
Okay,
kidding.
now wait. We have to go back to the SDC because violence solves everything does have a point. They're as natural armor rather than regular armor. If you do not get past the armor rating, no damage is taken.
No, it actually already
That's what
said
it says right here. That's what it says. If you look above AR2,
okay,
the paragraph above where it starts AR2, nope, go down one more. Next page. There you go. If the player rolls a successful hit, she then rolls damage to indicated by the weapon used. Note, the player must roll to determine a successful hit and penetration of the target's AR every time. Look above that.
But it already.
No, stop.
I'm not going to stop interrupting because you're wrong. It says it said earlier that it comes off of the armor.
Go back down, please, one page. Now, read the very, very beginning paragraph. Armor rating 11. This means the player must roll an 11. Matching the AR of the skimmer or better.
Oh, that's for vehicles.
Stop talking. To hit to hit and do damage. In this case, 1 through 10 does no damage, while 11 through 20 hits and does damage.
My reading of that is that it's to the person's side because it talks up here. Was it in this paragraph? These might say more punishment. The added endurance classified the STC number of cases how much damage device machine can take for it's destroyed. Okay, maybe I did read it wrong. Certain sonic attacks. Okay, here we go. A character in light battle armor is hit by a plasma bolt. Okay, that doesn't say what the target number was. Okay, maybe you are right. I read it differently, but it could just be that I was jaded in there.
I understand why they did this because mechanoids inside their machines are stupid squishy. They only have like 4 hit points or some nonsense like that. So if they had the regular armor rules and you rolled a 15 and you know the skimmer would just die in one hit every time. Just die in one hit.
Okay, that's I didn't see it that way when I first read it through it, but that could be just because I'm so used to doing it the other way that I didn't pick up on that. So they're treating this like natural armor class.
Yes. If you do not beat the armor rating, no damage is done. If you
then how do you hit the person inside then?
You have to beat through the armor. You have to get through it. There are no gaps.
Lame.
That's hey, you know what? It makes survive. It's when you lose your hit points, you die. All right. There is no safety.
I get that.
The only thing is your armor. They don't want holes in it.
No armor's perfect. That's my point. But okay. All right, but again, first game, number 1, and 2, simplified rules. And I don't have a problem with the simplified rules. I guess I did read those wrong, but I could have sworn that I read something in the exam. Maybe it's later, but I thought I read an example that talked about that. That's why the 5 thing is throwing me off, because I thought he talked about the 5 thing in here, but I've been reading so much Palladium recently that. All right, successfully dodge. Okay, to dodge, a player must announce his attention in advance. To successfully dodge and take no damage, a player must roll a 20-sided die and match or better his opponent's roll to hit. It's kind of the same way it is right now. Example, a character in LBA is attacked by a brute. The GM who is playing the brute rolls a 14 on a 20-sided die to hit and do damage. To dodge this attack, the player must forfeit. I added the word must, sorry. Forfeits his next attack and rolls to dodge. In this case, successfully dodge, he must roll. Okay, got it. 14 or higher. Anything below is an unsuccessful dodge as a forfeit of his attacks.
As well as.
Yeah, that's wow. Compared to modern Palladium, that's vicious. Match of 14 or higher. Thank you for clarifying again that 15 to 20 is higher than a 14.
Yeah.
It's a successful dodge. All right.
Here we go. Armor rating and hit principle do not apply to incapacitated foes. That is to say, bound, trapped, paralyzed, or otherwise immobilized opponent at close range is a sitting duck and quite impossible to miss. Thus, the roll to hit versus armor rating does not apply. It would be silly to have to roll to see your character can hit or penetrate an armor rating of a person he's sitting on. An automatic kill may apply depending on the circumstances. Now, it doesn't say it bypasses SDC. It just bypasses the armor rating roll. Any normal hit, any non-1 will hit and do damage. Armor rating doesn't do anything if the enemy is incapacitated in a way where you can't wiggle, can't move, can't dodge, can't do anything. You just hit as long as you don't fumble.
When rolling to hit versus armor rating, a 20-sided. Oh my god! Again, if the player rolls a natural 20, that's a 20, not including any bonuses hit. This indicates a critical hit. The result is an automatic double damage. Double damage can be handled 2 ways: roll the usual number of dice and multiply it by 2, or roll twice as many dice. This is the way I see most people do it. Either way is acceptable. Sounds like every other edition of SEC body. It might be first edition. I only have one first edition book, and I have to look at it because I could have sworn even in Heroes Unlimited it had normal armor. I also use the weapons guide.
Yeah, in Heroes Unlimited, they have normal armor and natural armor. This book reads like all armor is treated as natural armor. So you have to beat the AR rating to do any damage whatsoever. If you do beat the AR rating, you do damage to the armor first, always. And after the armor is penetrated, as in lost all of its SDC, then you're doing damage to the squishy boy inside. There you go.
I have so many house rules based on this book. I love this book. So yeah, sometimes I get some of that a little bit mixed up in there because I love the penetrating values put in here. Like you're wearing light armor, this bullet's going through that, because I've seen what a 50 cal can do to light armor. I know it ruins some of the cinematic and quick play of it, but once you get used to it, there's one other thing. There's one other comment that natural AR. The one thing about mega damage, if I have a piece of armor that has 5 mega damage left, and you shoot me with 20 mega damage, that 15 doesn't transfer.
What?
No. Not according to the Rifts rules. I had to look that up and re-look that up. So if you're a dude in your mecha or your glitter boy or whatever, and you have 5 points of main body, and let's say that's where the pilot is, and you get hit for 20 points, that 5 points is gone, and you are sucking air, but it does not transfer to the person inside. The next shot will. I did think that was a little silly, but at the same time,
seems like too much of a safety net.
It's one attack.
You should have been running away when you had 5 points left on your armor.
Fair. But at the same time, I look at it as like, when people have 5, 6, 8 attacks per round, it's more of a tease than anything else.
Yeah, fair. It's like in 0.7 seconds, you're going to die.
Right? It's
now,
probably why.
Here's the other thing about natural 20. A natural 20, you have to roll to get the double damage. You must roll a 20. You know, if you have bonus to hit that equals a 20 or more, it doesn't count as a natural 20.
Yep.
And if you want to dodge a natural 20, you got to roll a natural 20 to dodge. Or else, I rolled a 26. No, you rolled an 18 plus 8. That's not a natural 20. Sorry, sucker. You got hit. And it hurt. Bad.
Yep. Now, I've had one GM say not only do you have to roll a natural 20, but your modifiers have to beat the other person's modifiers, which I didn't like because I very rarely play the highest PP class in the game. I was at Rifts. I play Cyborg. In TMNT, I roll my animal naturally, and I always get something dumb like a fucking alligator. But anyway, so I didn't like the fact because in there it's supposed to be the defender wins, and that's kind of written throughout the Palladium books. If the attacker rolls a 20 and you roll a 20, the defender wins. But I had a GM that said, nope, you roll your 20 plus your modifier. So let's say the person is a high PP's got a plus 11 to hit, right? Or to strike. Got a 31. My max bonus is 3. I have no chance in hell. So what's the point? I was like, that kind of defeats the entire intent of the whole 20 ties a 20. But he's like, nope, gotta have your modifiers as well.
Dumb.
All right. Each attribute is determined by the roll of 3 6-sided dice. Other games have different ways to go about this, but I prefer to go with fate and the first roll of the dice. That is... Heathen Dog and I talked about this a little bit last night. For you modern Palladium players, I think it was it Violence Solves Everything? It was somebody in the Friday chat said, hey, why don't you get rid of physical skills? Well, the reason I don't get rid of physical skills in my version is because of this. This is how you're rolling your attributes.
Yes.
I fully understand why somebody who does the stupid ass overpowered 46 plus one or roll 46 reroll ones nonsense would want to get rid of that. And I'm not saying Violence Solves Everything does that, but most Palladium games do that. It's like roll 46 reroll ones. Why? The game's already super powered.
Yeah.
You don't need to do that. If you have low attributes, well, look at this. I got a 13, 2 6s, a 14, a 12, 11. You know what you do with those 2 6s? You put those 2 6s into physical endurance and physical strength, and then take
weightlifting, and running and whatever, and you'll get your physical strength and physical endurance up to normal levels.
Yes.
And there you go. Bob's your uncle. Right? That's what physical skills are for, because you were supposed to roll 3d6 straight up and down the line. That's what you were supposed to do. Now it doesn't say it here that you must go down the line and you must do that. I did that a lot, but you roll all this and then you place them where you want. And then you take skills to cover your shortfalls. Or if you think you don't care about that shortfall, then choose your skills however you want to build your character and just role play the lower stat, and it's fine.
Yeah, I that's one of the things that I've noticed, and I think Palladium more than any other game that I've played is the consistency of everybody doing 46 reroll ones.
See, I never did that.
Did I play in a Palladium game? I know you were a character in Al's games. Did you run? You ran the game with the Melt Your Mind one, or was that Al?
That was Al.
Or was that Bob?
Nope.
That might have been Bob's game. Oh, was it? Okay. Either way, yeah, I'm not sure I played in the game that you ran, but yeah, I understand the argument. Let's just put it that way. But if you're rolling 3d6, I think the physical skills are worth saving. If you're rolling 46, reroll ones, yeah, I could see getting rid of the physical.
Yeah, I mean, the only physical skills you would keep the physical skills, but you would either tone down or completely get rid of the physical attribute bonuses. Like you still want to keep acrobatics and have a percentage to climb better, have a percentage for flipping and, all that stuff. You still want to keep that, right? The acrobatic stuff, but you would no longer get plus this to PP, plus this to PE and stuff like that. If you started with the higher stats.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Humans are 3d6, other races are different dice. You are
yes.
Yeah.
But this is Mechanoids, and you're either a Mechanoid or a squishy human being.
We're talking just humans right now, guys. That's stupid. What if you're playing an orc with 5d6 physical strength? Okay, I would still say, roll 5d6. Or are you saying that allowing other people to have 46? Yeah, I don't know exactly what your point is in that one. If was it Palladium Fantasy? I think that is where it's like each race rolls a little bit different dice. I go with what the race says. If the race says 3d6, 2d6, 5d6, that's what you're rolling. But I don't play fantasy as much as some other people. I played mostly Heroes Unlimited, Rifts, and when I ran the games, it was TMNT. And way back in the day, Robotech. All right, let's move on. Oops. These are we'll do this. Oh God, this is gonna be fun. This might be boring for some of you, but for the people who have never seen Palladium before, here are the same 8 attributes that you will find from then until today. They might be worded differently, but these are the attributes in the same order. Start with intelligence or IQ, and Kevin has a big deal about making sure you put those periods in between the. That is part of his personal writing guide. You will put those periods in there. So IQ is your intelligence. Mental endurance is how much mental and emotional stress. It's like your willpower or wisdom in other games. Mental affinity is your personal magnetism or charisma. So obviously like charisma. I'm not reading the next sentence. Physical strength is just that. Raw physical power. Physical prowess is your dexterity. Really it should be agility. In most games, not dexterity, but whatever. But in this one, it includes your manual dexterity and your agility. Nimbleness of movement. There we go. Nope. All right. Physical endurance. This is the strength that carries physical constitution, resistance to fatigue, disease, and poison. It's where your hit points come from. Physical beauty. I don't fully understand this attribute. Why it's necessary. I look. I know about all the bonuses, rifts, and later Heroes Unlimited gives because of this, but physical beauty isn't necessary. It's like
the main thing. If you'll have to go down to the exceptional chart. The main thing is the trust believe. That's what that's the big thing for physical beauty.
I would just throw that under charisma or mental affinity. But
no. People want to believe pretty people more than ugly people. That's just the way of life. He saw it in his life. I saw it in my life. You've seen it in yours. If an attractive person says something and an ugly person says the exact same thing, people are going to believe the good-looking guy or girl or whatever. That's just the way it is.
While true, I just wrap that under charisma because I don't think another stat needs to be fun. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying I would just wrap that under charisma. You could be a very well-spoken person who's not attractive, or you could be a very attractive person, or the combination of the two. You can just wrap that up however you want. But it definitely gives bonuses in later editions of Palladium games as I've been looking through them. And speed applies to the character's ability to run the mile. Speed does not apply to the use of weapons, tools, or dodging and attacks. Didn't they change that later on? I thought speed gave like a +4 or something crazy to like dodging or whatever.
No. I mean, in Heroes Unlimited, there are powers that increase your speed, but they also have secondary effects, increasing your physical prowess and stuff like that as well. So your brain and body can keep up with the added movement. So then it gives you ancillary bonuses, but it's not directly related to speed. Speed is just how fast you can run. That's it.
Okay, I thought there was a version that added bonus. I might be wrong.
Just how fast you can run.
So maybe I'm not a good liar, just very good looking. No, I get the idea. But I mean, then you could have a game with 22 different attributes, or split it up in half, like was it the Black Books for AD&D Second Edition did, where you have aim and I get that it's possible, or that it makes sense in that regard. I'm just saying, for the simplicity of a game, I would wrap it up under 1. Not house ruling it, and I'm not saying it's bad. It's one of those stats. I'm like, whatever, physical beauty, who cares? Especially later on when it does give percentage bonuses. All right, there's a little difference in this one in later on. If a player rolls a 17 or 18 in an attribute, okay, I understand. I understand that it's more personality, not appearance, but it's used in pretty much the same way to get people to listen to you, to trust you, to like you, to to be that in a game sense. I'm just talking in a game sense, game mechanics. That just, to me, that wraps into 1. I don't need 2 different attributes for that. If a player rolls a 17 or 18, not a 16, 17, or 18, but a 17 or 18, you get to roll an extra D6. Just 1. Not the 2 of modern Palladium. So the IQ, so now it's talking about the bonuses. So let's go down here. Yeah. IQ, these are bonuses to your percentage chance to hit.
What? Nope.
Nope, what?
These are bonuses to all, one-time bonuses to every time you get a skill.
Oh yeah, did I say to hit? Sorry, I'm like half reading chat, half reading this. At this point, rolling for stats might be an outdated idea. Never. I am a huge supporter of rolling stats because I can't stand carbon copy cookie cutter characters. Heathen Dog has strengths I don't have. Now you can say, well, you could just represent that by him having hired this and lower that. He could have been born with all 3s. I could have been born with all 18s because that's what the reality of life is. I don't believe in this whole equity that we all have equal points to spread around. I am a firm believer in rolling. And if your character is so crappy that it can't be played, then you just start over again from scratch. But if you think your character is crappy because it has 8 9s, then you're a bad player.
Yeah.
And I will tell a player that
9s are average.
I don't have any bonuses. And
you have no minuses, so shut up.
So
but anyway, for this, my take on the effects of all these exceptional stats.
Mm-hmm.
In the early game, IQ is paramount in the early game because you get a bonus to all of your primary skills. You're going to be better at what you do than everybody else out of the gate. Now, as they gain levels, this gap is going to shrink because you get more per level than most of this IQ gives, unless you get a 24 or some other nonsense like that. You know, so the gap is going to shrink as you progress in levels. So only in the early game is IQ great. Mid game, it weakens, and end game, it's basically nothing. All right, now your save versus psionic attack in Mechanoids, super important. Super important because all Mechanoids are psionic of some kind. This is going to save your life. Get it. Always get it. Now, the trust and intimidation, again, this is a Mechanoids game, so mental affinity and physical beauty aren't going to matter a whole lot in the story. You know, going through the campaign, they aren't going to matter a whole lot unless you're interacting with other survivors. You know, stuff like interacting with other human beings or other beings who think humans are pretty, whatever. But the difference in the trust intimidation of MA and the trust believe of PB is that the mental mental affinity factor has to be done over a certain period of time. You have to be able to sit down and talk to this person to convince them or intimidate them into
that was going to lead
your
into
way
something
of
I want to
thinking.
say. Notice these. This is a percentage. This is a percentage.
Right.
These are percentages. These are pluses.
Yes.
Well, we haven't got into it yet because the game hasn't really discussed it too much.
Yes.
The differences. These are skills that take time. These are combat actions. And like when you talk in your trust intimidate, that's a skill. So you're taking the time.
Yeah. So the thing is, the reason why the trust intimidate starts at 50% and the trust believe starts at 35, number one, the trust intimidate, you are taking the time. You're taking the time to sit down and convince them so you have a better chance of success. With the physical beauty, the longer you look at someone, they're not getting any prettier. Okay, so you start off at a lower chance, but just because you're pretty, someone will just say yes to you. You know,
look at all the Twitch thoughts and the simps that
exactly. Just because they're pretty, they get money.
Like this person gave me $10,000. Who would do that? She's not gonna you.
Nope.
Yet there are people who have been known to give about $10,000 because some chick is sitting in her hot tub with a bikini on and talking like, "Hi guys, how are you doing today? Oh my God, do you see what just happened?"
Yeah.
And Palladium is definitely not a rules light game.
No.
that's in fact it's a rules chaotic game. But I like it.
Let's keep going on this chart now. Damage. Physical strength damage bonus. This in the Mechanoids environment is all but worthless.
Really?
Yes, all but worthless. You're going to want a gun. To fight Mechanoids, you're going to want a gun. You don't punch a giant killer robot. All right? If you do, you've already taken some hits to the brain. All right, something's wrong with your brain pan. You got problems. So your physical strength is not going to be that important. All right. Now your physical prowess, this is going to be important because it affects not only your ability to hit things with any weapon or your fists if you're dumb, but to dodge any weapon or somebody's fists if they're dumb. So this is another stat that is going to be useful for your entire career, beginning, middle, and end game. This is going to be great. You are going to want this. Save versus coma and death. This is when you reach 0 hit points. All right, when you reach 0 hit points. Now, guess what? If a mechanoid kills you and you have an 18 physical endurance, there's a 5% chance someone can clear and get you back to life. Well, if you died, everyone around you probably died too. So again, this is not that important. When you're playing mechanoids, the 2 most important stats, mental endurance, physical prowess. Those are the 2 most important stats.
And to be fair, physical prowess is probably the most important in every Palladium game. It's
fair enough. But mental endurance, because all of your enemies are psionic, very important.
Don't play rifts then, weird guy, because those bonuses get crazy.
Yeah,
they get really, really crazy. I like the Palladium system. I know there are detractors, but I like it. And yes, Crafty, you are not my thought. Sorry. Actually, we're your thought. You keep paying us money. Thank you. Here. There you go. That was for you. Height and weight. Yep, you actually rolled for your height and weight, and it says roll for both in height and weight separately. So you could be 2.13 meters and 40 kilograms, which is about 90 pounds and about 6 foot.
Real thin, yeah.
6'8" and 90 pounds.
Yep. You goofy bastard, goofy looking, lanky sumbitch. But hey, you know what? You're within the human possibility. So there you go.
If you come to me and have a strength of like 22, though, I think I'm gonna disagree.
Well, all right. Yeah. Okay. You know, anyway, the GM rules, you know, can offset. Like if you have a strength of 23 and a physical endurance of 20, and it says here that you know, you only weigh 40.82 kilograms, but you're over 2 meters tall. That doesn't make any sense at all. At all. Maybe if you were 1.2 meters and you were like, you know, round, but it was all muscle, then it would make sense, right? If you can understand that. But yeah, okay. If your physical stats would reflect a different body type, then ask the GM for some special dispensation. You're probably okay.
Oh, he thinks Rifts is easier than Heroes Unlimited or SDC games.
Oh, well, it simplifies by not having AR, I guess.
Well, that's what he said. The difference with the AR for me in this one was the fact that I read it earlier this week, and I thought I did read that in here, but I was wrong. I'd never had a problem with natural AR and regular AR. In fact, I like the AR system. There's only one thing I would do differently if I were designing the game from scratch, not in a Palladium. I don't house rule this, is I would actually have armor reduce damage. That's just always been my favorite, but that's not how Palladium runs. So I didn't have a problem. I don't like mega damage because I don't like mega damage. Like I absolutely prefer all the SDC systems over mega damage, but I understand why Rifts has it and needs it. Like it just makes sense.
Now we're at the O.C.s.
And this is where things are weird, man, because it starts off by talking not about the normal O.C.s, but let's go to the weird ones that we suggest you don't play. So each player must choose an occupation for the character. Each of these occupations or character classes have attribute limitations such as minimum IQ, physical strength, PP. The character's attributes must correspond to the minimum requirements listed per class. All right, blah, blah, blah. Right. Originally, I had 17 character classes. As I developed the Mechanoid scenario, it became painfully apparent that many of the classes did not have high playable abilities in the battle situations I've set up. And when you start seeing the skills for this game, you're going to understand why that is. As a result, I've decided on 7 character classes, that's less than half, with the greatest playability. These 7 classes are Pilot Ground Vehicle Mechanic, Air Vehicle Mechanic, Communications Engineer, Esper, Light battle armor division, heavy battle armor division, and commando. So lots of combat here, and somebody who's going to talk to you.
Actually, you can think about fighting the Mechanoids as fighting Skynet in the future. You know, everyone is either a hapless victim or a fighter.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yep. Yeah, I mean
that's all you are.
Terminator, that first scene in Terminator 2.
Yeah. Very first scene. I mean, everyone was either, you know, cowering, you know, victim watching a TV that's broken and on fire, or they were a fighter with a giant laser gun, you know, and armor everywhere. That was it. There was no in between. There's no more farmers. Sorry, buddy. You know, sorry, there's none of that. And you're living in a sewer, so there's not a whole lot of woodworkers running around, right? So you're one of these. And there's a couple of optional ones, Rover and Thief. These are the hapless victim civilians that have decided they want to stop feeling like hapless victims and take advantage of other people in some way to get by in life.
So Darth Theix says, in his opinion, the stat that's weird to translate the game is speed. I have a love-hate relationship with speed.
Because I flat out how fast you run. That's it.
Right. No, I get that, and that's what I like about it. I don't like the fact that Heathen Dog and I each move 30.
And every other stat has an effect on a roll of some kind.
But the people who complain about it, I'm not saying Darth Theix is saying this, but the people who complain about it want the all humans should move 30, all dwarves should move 20 type stuff. I don't like that. And like whether it's Earth Dawn Drink or it's Palladium or what, I like having characters that are a little faster than another character, a little slower than another character. Where I have a problem, but where I hate speed is when it gets excessive. My speed is 38. I'm faster than Usain Bolt when I walk, let alone run. You know, that kind of crap. It's like, okay, come on now.
But I don't know if this game does it yet, but in every other Palladium game where they have vehicles, they have different speed classes.
Yeah, speed factors. Yep.
There's regular running on your own speed, there's ground vehicle speed, and then there's air vehicle speed. And
all right, so major area of, so here we go. Each occupation has two categories: major area of expertise and electives, what are now known today as what skill programs and secondary skills.
Right.
The major area of expertise corresponds directly to the occupation and cannot be chosen or altered. Okay, so actually O.C.C. skills.
Yes.
The electives are additional areas of knowledge which the players are allowed to choose. The number of electives varies from occupation to occupation. And man, when you compare it to modern Palladium, you're going to be like, I don't have any skills. Scroll back up. Human Thief. Again, it starts with the optional ones.
Yeah, I don't know why.
If a player wishes to play a Human Thief, GM's option, the following modifications apply. First, the player must choose one of the 7 occupational character classes. Thieving is a second occupation. Both the major areas of expertise and the elective abilities are minus 7%. This is because the character spends time practicing his thieving skills instead of his cover occupation. That seems kind of nice to me. Only 7%, but okay. Now the modification
in the beginning, it's a big hindrance.
That is true.
Yeah.
As a second skill, thieving has no automatic area of expertise. This means that prowl and hand-to-hand combat become electives. The Human Thief chooses 2 skills just as electives at level 1. Level 3, level 6, and 1 at level 9. Add 10% to explosives and PGV. I already forgot what PGV means. What's that? Personal ground vehicle. Yep. There's so many acronyms in this one. Standard equipment includes a laser lance, survival knife, and an SRL 60. Woo. All right, about skill levels. Some of you may be surprised at the high percentage competency of first level characters. Consider this. The characters The characters being played are men and women specifically chosen for space colonization, not a kid off the farm looking for fun and adventure. Aw.
No.
You're playing trained professionals, thus skill reflects that training.
Right. I mean, all of the characters that you're playing have not been thrown into the deep end, OJTing this thing with a mentor. No, they went through rigorous years of training to be considered competent enough to do their job, and competent enough is damn good.
Yeah, they had to go through astronaut training and I don't know what else. Elective skills, elective variation. Many of the same occupational skills are available as electives under the 7 different occupational character classes. However, the percentages of mastering the skill may vary from one character to another. This variation usually reflects the character's major area of expertise and learning background. While playtesting Mechanoid Invasion, I found a rich variety of playing characters can be obtained with the method of choosing elective skills, much more so in later editions when you start to see what you get here. Electives, when you reach level 3, you're allowed to choose an additional elective skill ability, but it starts at level 1 proficiency. Makes sense. All right. Do you want to do the abbreviate? Do we really just kind of overview the occupational character classes?
These look like skills. I mean, they just talking
ABCs, audiovisual communication, explosives, dangerous tools. Yeah, linguistics, you're right, that these are skills. To unlock, tells you how long it takes to unlock something. Medical skills. Let's pick a couple to look at. Well, let's look at the melee skill because that's kind of different than current Palladium. Melee, or melee round, specifically refers to hand-to-hand combat, but is used to measure character time and sequence of events. One melee round, oh, by the way, this is going to be different for some Palladium folks. One melee round is the time it takes for all players to get in their attacks and responses to a situation. Scroll back up. The slow scrolling. Oh my god. Oh wait, where is it?
You went way too high.
Oh, I did. Oh, there we go. Breaks down to 1 minute. 1 minute of character time. Little typo there, but we were prepared for that. Conversion note: in current Palladium, melee round is 15 seconds. Oh, you even put it there. Yeah. It used to be a minute to do everything, and you only got one action.
One action to do it. Yeah.
Okay. Pilot tank. Yeah, that's nice. Some more 1980s graphics. Prowl, sensory equipment. Example handguns. Let's look at another example here for weapons. Why? Because combat is... We're playing a game where you're shooting mechanoids, right? All classes of characters are issued handguns as sidearms and know how to use that particular type of handgun fairly well. The player should choose which type of handgun he uses. If a character without a weapon proficiency in handgun chooses an ion blaster as a sidearm, he's familiar with only that one type of weapon. Thus, he cannot properly operate a laser pistol or an SB-10, nor does he possess any marksmanship skill bonus to it. However, a person with weapon proficiency in handguns is both a skilled marksman with his chosen sidearm, with a bonus to hit, and knowledgeable in other handguns. Thus, he possesses a percentage chance of understanding and operating any handgun. And we'll actually see that percentage chance later. So you might pick up a gun and go, pew pew, nope, nothing worked. Throw it away. You have to spend time actually, trying to figure it out. I don't know if I like that or not. It's neat. I don't know if I like it or not, though. Yeah. All right. Last part I'm going to read, then we'll move into, I'll let Heathen Dog take over again. How to use the weapon proficiency percentage. Are you aware of a weapon proficiency percentage?
I am now.
They don't do that in modern Palladium, do they?
No, they don't.
If a character wishes to use a weapon he is not familiar with, he must roll under his weapon proficiency percentage. If he rolls successfully, he'll be able to use the weapon with the full benefit of his weapon proficiency bonus. This ability will last for 12 hours and can be maintained, or at least 12 hours, and can be maintained if the character continues to practice with the weapon regularly. If the roll is unsuccessful, he cannot use the weapon. GMs, I would suggest no more than a 2 out of 3 roll. That I skipped it, but that comes up a couple of times in Mechanoids. Give characters a 2 out of 3 chance. In a crisis situation, I feel the character can be allowed to try again after a reasonable amount of time of studying and practicing with the weapon, such as 1 roll every 8 hours of character time. I had to put this in here. Not real time. Failure to understand and use alien experimental heavy weapon will usually result in disaster. Oh, what could that disaster be? Shoot self. Discharge blinds holder for 2 melee rounds. Or deafens if it's loud, maybe. Jams gun must be taken apart to be repaired. Accidentally shoots nearest person. Sorry, Heathen Dog. Accidentally shoots farthest person.
Weapon explodes. Sorry, Grover.
Sorry, there you go. Yeah, so there you go. All right, my voice is getting raspy because I don't have anything real to drink. I'm going to try to finish this up, and I'll let Heathen Dog start with the Esper because he loves his psychic powers.
I do. Okay, the Esper. Attribute requirements. Major or minor psionic abilities. No minimums in other abilities. To be an Esper, all that is needed is the innate psychic ability. Because an Esper devotes all of his time to developing the psionic strengths and disciplines, there's little time for other areas of study. Thus, the following electives are available. For Espers with an IQ of 8 or less, choose 2 at level 1, 1 at level 3, 1 at level 6, and 9. The number of electives for Espers with an IQ of 9 or greater. 2 at level 1, 2 at level 3, 2 at 6, and 2 at 9. And
So I have some commentary. I have some commentary on this.
What's that?
What I love about this is that it pretty much says, look, you can have low attributes and still play.
Yes.
And characters back then probably would, or players back then probably would do it. Not all of them, but would probably do it. And I just love that assumption. It's like, look, you don't have to roll perfectly in order to play the game. The flip side of that is, I also know players would be like, look, if I can't get all of these, I'm just cannon fodder.
That is not true in this game.
I get it, but you know how people, like, if I didn't get the best of it, then I am not good at it. Is, you know, it's perfection or none is how I agree.
Yeah.
Look at these experience points, man.
Now the problem I have is they haven't given us the role to see if you are a psychic or not. And they've told us that a major or minor psionic abilities is an attribute requirement to be an Esper, but I still don't know if my character is psychic or not.
We looked at the psychic section. Did it not say it?
I didn't see it.
Okay.
I didn't see it. I could be wrong,
where are these minimum requirements here? Minimum requirements. Major or minor psionic abilities, no minimums other than the abilities. I know you already read this. It's just for some reason it didn't stick in my noggin. Innate psychic ability. That's it. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. That's all you need is innate psychic ability. All right. So, and then we go down to your skills. Depending on your level, you get a pickpocket skill. That's part of your O.C.C., your primary skills, which are your O.C.C. skills.
Okay, here we go.
Level 1 is at 10%, and level 13 is at 86%. You get at level 1, you get a +1 to dodge, 16% linguist, 22% O.C.C.s. Don't know what that means. 20% medical, I can guess. Level 1, you get 25% of pilot ground vehicle, 20% pilot air vehicle, and 18% repair ground vehicle, and they go up as you go up in level. It looks
so
like
what were the choices though? Like how many can he pick?
Oh no, these are ones you always get.
Those are the O.C.C.s?
Yes, as an Esper, you get these skills. These are not elective. These are your primary skills. Everyone gets the same primary skills if you are that class.
This is an incredible. Now, when I looked at the other ones, they only seem to get like 2. This one gets all of this.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm playing an Esper. Well, the percentages are low compared to the other O.C.C.s, though, to be fair.
Yeah. Probably because of the psionicness.
Jack of all trade, master of none, it seems like.
Right. And then we go down after that. We go down to the communications engineer. Now,
here's a perfect example. He gets 2.
He gets 2. No. Keep scrolling down.
No, these are electives.
Oh yeah, these are electives. Oh, you're right. Okay, 2, but they start at 60 and 50 instead of starting at 10 or 22 or 25. No, you are a goddamn professional.
Yep.
All right, and your electives start out with at the same level of expertise that an Esper's primary skills start out at. So yeah. And we scroll down, we get to...
By the way, we are reading comments, at least I am. I think Heathen Dog is as well, but I do appreciate all the comments coming in. We're not addressing all of them because I know this is going to take a while. So we'll get back to some of those in a little bit.
PGV, pilot ground vehicle requirements, IQ 4, physical prowess of 4. You have to not be physically or mentally handicapped, basically.
If you don't roll all ones...
You're fine.
You can be one of these. IQ 4.
You too can drive the Jeep.
I don't know if I want somebody with an IQ of 4 driving anything. Maybe it's like a Tesla that drives itself.
But even at level 1, you have a 48% at pilot ground vehicle and a 27% at repair ground vehicle. But guess what? That's all you get for your, well, no, you get the secondary skills, obviously, but they're at 36, 15, 20, pilot tank, repair, air vehicle, and 20% medical, and you get your weapon handgun bonus to hit. everyone gets the weapon proficiency handgun. It said that earlier, so it's in everyone's tree. Everyone gets it. But you can also get a laser rifle, but that starts at 9%. So
Well,
good on you. But the thing is, you don't have to roll the percentage
if you
to
have
fire
the
a laser rifle, right? I mean, if you have the skill, you can
Yeah.
fire a laser rifle. You don't get any bonuses yet at level 1, but you get to have your physical prowess bonus. If you don't have the weapon proficiency, you get no bonuses whatsoever.
and you have a 9% chance. Isn't that how that works?
Well, no. If
Because if you know how to use a laser rifle, you shouldn't have that 9%.
No, you don't. You have the percentage if you pick up a different kind of rifle. You have a laser rifle, but this is a particle beam rifle. It's similar, but not the same. You have a 9% chance to use the particle beam rifle with no minuses, or with all your bonuses. That's what it's saying. Like if you have weapon proficiency handgun and you pick up weapon proficiency Han Solo's ion blaster, you pick up Han Solo's ion blaster.
If you don't have the weapon proficiency laser rifle,
but it is similar enough to a regular handgun that you may be able to fudge it.
So I say we start a writing campaign to Palladium to have all skills divisible by 5 and always go up 5% increments. No. But here's why. I get why that's being said. Because then you could just play the game with a D20. For me, I like percentile based systems. Now I know somebody's gonna say, but your intelligence could still, your IQ could make that, +2, +4, +5, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
No, I like the fact that something starts with 63. I like the fact that something starts with 51. The other part of it, the 5% increments, well, I kind of already told Heathen Dog last night what I'm doing in my game, which let's just say your idea comes into play sort of. Because I think we all recognize that it's weird to have an ability that starts at 9% and goes up by 4, and another one that starts at 22% and goes up by 2, another one that has, and you always have to look that up. It's only when you level up. I get it. But so I did simplify that, but not exactly like that.
Okay. Let's move to the Lba Trooper. This is your basic army grunt.
Where are we? Is that
right
this
there.
guy?
That guy right there.
Flash Gordon? Where the hell
down
this?
A little more, and you'll get Lba Trooper. There you go.
I was too busy looking at the picture, trying to figure out what that is.
All right. You need an IQ of 7. You gotta not be dumb.
We have to read maps.
7 and a PP of 7. You need to be able to walk, talk at the same time. And then they will
lift cardboard boxes.
Yep, they will train you up, put a gun in your hand, and let you get shot by giant mechanoid creatures of mass destruction. You get skills.
You get 3.
Vehicle, prowl, O.C.C.s. We didn't read what that meant, so I don't know what that means.
Well, it's something communication engine, I think.
Okay, whatever. Yeah, you can use your walkie-talkie. Good job. You can call
Look
in.
Look at this bobblehead guy.
An airstrike on your location.
This dude's mom died when he was born. Look at that head. Look at how big his head is.
That's true. Yeah, that is.
And fair. This, by the way, this right here looks almost like spot on with House Liao gear from 3050 era.
This is your average light battle armor. All the Lba troopers get it. Good for you.
Oh my god, I'm picturing 1950s sci-fi.
I'm actually picturing Starship Troopers now.
Yeah,
I look at that and I'm thinking Starship Troopers.
I like it. I don't think that is mockery. I actually like it. I like that thematic.
The LBA, the light battle armor, is an armor rating of 10 and 72 SDC. That's what you get. You get it, and you like it.
The answer to this is no.
It's your wife. Love it.
The answer.
It's fire resistant up to 245 degrees centigrade. That's a temperature. Fire is a thing. Not okay. Never mind. I'm not gonna. It has a gas mask and a face protector. Has emergency oxygen supply. It can detect radiation.
Okay, I just learned a new word. I don't know what that means.
Dosimeter. Yeah. That's a radiation detector.
Is it? I thought it was a Geiger counter.
That is another kind of radiation detector.
Oh, yeah. X-rays are radiation absorbed in a given period. I actually have never heard that term before. It's always been called Geiger counter for me. Okay. I got educated.
I always remember it because it's a dose meter. It's Garthon has to wear one when he's working because he works on MRI machines. He works on machines that have radioactive cores.
I'm surprised he doesn't have psychic powers by now.
I know, right? Anyway, and then we move on. EBA Trooper, Environmental Battle Armor Division. These are the Marines. These aren't your average army grunt. These are highly trained killing machines.
Oh yes, Charlotte Williams, Buck Rogers. You're absolutely right, from the 70s.
Yep. And if we scroll way down, you will see a picture of the EBA Trooper in his armor. Check that out. That is some hardcore nonsense right there.
Shoot him in the ankles.
EBA armor is AR-15 and 150 SDC.
Where's that information?
It's lower.
Is it lower?
It's below the picture.
Really?
Yep. Keep going. Below that picture.
Oh, this is still the same guy. Okay, yep. I thought this was a new class.
Below that
Got
picture, and boom, there you are. You're there. And this one is radiation shielded. Now remember, your LBA Trooper can tell when he's being irradiated, but can't do anything about it. The EBA Trooper can't tell. No, he can tell when he's being irradiated, and he doesn't care because his armor is radiation shielded. The LBA Trooper is like, oh, look, I'm screwed. The LBA Trooper is like, oh, the EBA Trooper is like, oh, look, you're screwed. Yeah, that's how it works. But then right below that, we have the Commando. And the Commando has the highest attribute requirements we've seen so far. IQ of 10.
Oh, Panther uniform.
Physical strength of 13 and a physical prowess of 13. You not only have to not be dumb, you have to be average intelligence and above average in physicality across the board, except for PE, of course.
I'm scrolling all over the place here because I'm trying to figure out. Okay, the Commando. That's the experience. What? Okay. I'm guessing where are the O.C.C. skills?
They're right there. Scroll up. Scroll up. Scroll up.
Oh, okay. I didn't see this.
There you go.
I missed that part. Okay,
Scale wall, explosives, pickpocket, pick locks, repair ground vehicle, pilot tank, pilot ground vehicle, communications, prowl. Those are all the skills you get as a commando. But like the Esper, they all start low because you get so many. So your training takes just as long, but it wasn't as intensive. But you get a whole lot more, whole lot more stuff to do, and as you go up in level, you become a lot more deadly.
Look at these numbers
at level 11.
Triple damage.
There's a double asterisk there.
But only hand to hand.
Only hand to hand. Okay, it's worthless. Never mind. Hand to hand in Mechanoids is dumb. If you're punching a Mechanoid, you may as well just shoot yourself in the face.
I don't see where the asterisk, where the asterisk is.
I don't see the double asterisk either. I don't see it anywhere.
Unless that's what this is. Applies to all class hand-to-hand combat skills. I don't think so.
Huh. It does. I don't think that it's true. Anyway, you get electives. Three at level 3, 2 at level 6, and 1 at level 9. So you don't get electives right away because you have so many skills, but you still get electives later on.
Question came up about what does this game think about nukes? I don't know. I have not actually read the entire book yet. I read what I thought we would go through today.
I don't think they have any nukes in this game. I don't believe so. Experimental weapon bonus. This is important. Go back up right there. Players with character occupations in LBA, EBA, or Commando can opt to join the experimental weapons division if they have an IQ of 13 or above. Should be pointed out that this is not necessarily a desirable addition to one's character. Field testing experimental weapons can be incredibly dangerous. People who join this division are expected to thoroughly test any new weapon given to them, regardless of the personal danger. So, hey, we got this new particle beam weapon. We need you to test it out, guinea pig. I mean, Joe.
Yeah. Good luck.
Oh, thanks. Okay, I'll shoot it. It's going to blow up, and then you die. And
or it's just going to make him angry. Uh-oh.
So yeah, experimental division, it's up to you, but it's basically giving the game master the opportunity to mess with you for like no reason. So I wouldn't do it.
All right, half a page left for today.
All right. Experience
Talk about-
points and their application. Now we saw the experience points tables with every single OCC. They advance at a different rate, just like old D&D. You advance at a different rate.
But
Now
that's because the expectations of what you do are different.
Yeah. And these are what you do to gain experience. These are examples. All right,
well, I would like to go over what he said because he has a thought process behind this.
Okay, let's hear his thought process.
Yeah. It's difficult to devise a point system by which a game master can judge and reward his players fairly. The ultimate purpose of experience points and experience levels is to provide a means by which the player characters can grow and develop. Remember, he wrote this in 1981. Many fantasy role-playing games have their own unique systems, charts, equations, and computations for distributing experience points. You may want to use one of those. Neat little option in there. Mm-hmm. On the other hand, I use a very subjective method of observation and logic. I feel that any twit can chop or blast a creature that has just pounced on him. Most experience point systems concentrate on the kill factor. Even D&D did that. Even second edition D&D did that with well, I guess not so much because only the fighter got the hit die bonus. But most experience point system concentrate on the kill factor. But what about the thought process? What about the decisions, plans, or motives for a particular action? Doesn't cleverness and a cool head count? I think so. Aren't these the true ingredients of good role playing? It seems unfair to me that the person who devised a clever plan should get less experience points than the players who carry out the plan because they're better skilled to do so. Shouldn't the brilliant medical student playing the character with an IQ of 3 get something for playing the character? No, because you're not I get it. The player playing the character. I got it. Okay, yes. Then in that case, yes. I was thinking that the character had an IQ of 3 and was a medical doctor. Like, no, you wouldn't be a medical doctor.
Yeah, you wouldn't be a medical doctor. You wouldn't be able to do that. But these are example experience points that you would get for doing completing a task or doing something in game. Kill a minor menace, kill a major menace, 25 and 75. Kill a great menace, 100.
Oh, no, notice this. Kill a minor menace, killing a couple of
and we have
invisible guys.
Yeah. But look at the high ones. 400, a critical planner action that saves the entire group or several people. Now, this is for the person who came up with the plan, and it succeeded wonderfully. Nobody died, or only Joe, but nobody cared about Joe anyway.
The red shirts.
Exactly. That person who came up with that plan will get 400. Now, notice that self-sacrifice
or potential self-sacrifice.
No, it has to be potential because self-sacrifice, you get no XP because guess what? You're dead.
Oh, come on. We always love to do that. Okay, take your 400.
Don't get XP. If you put yourself in mortal danger to save someone else, and there is a great likelihood you will die because of it, but don't, you get 400 experience. If you do, nobody cares. You're dead. You don't get experience.
We still handed it out.
Now, at the end of the day, if you played in character most or all the time, you get 50, no matter what. Like if you played your IQ of 3, you get 50.
Yeah, I time this by multiply this by the character's level.
Okay, well, you can do that too. It's up to you. The game master can give out experience however he wants. Doesn't matter. These are examples that Kevin used. These are his
I don't know if it's the exact same writing, but this has lasted the gamut of Palladium.
Yeah. So sure. I mean, this is not the exhaustive list. You can add, take away as a game master, anything you want. That's fine. And it gives examples. Of course, real problem is method is subjectivity. The game master must utilize the basic outline and point value with some thought. Example: 8 third-level characters armed to the teeth in heavy battle armor kill a single brute. These 8 players should receive experience points for killing a minor menace. Even though a brute is very strong, you had like a whole platoon of experienced Marines with 50
can't farm things.
Yeah, they just mow the field and everything in front of them dies, which is common. It's not considered a major threat anymore, right? So you're going to get minor threat experience for it. But the opposite is also true. If you're an Esper with a knife and you somehow take down a brute, which you won't, you'll die. But if you somehow take down a brute with 4 natural 20s in a row, then you're going to get not only major menace, but I'd get you like God loves you bonus, maybe even an extra 100. I don't know. But yes, the game master has the ability to alter experience points however he sees fit,
He just said
depending
this is
on
his
the
system.
relative level of threat.
Like this is
And
just
here
his
we are,
system. He even
psionics.
well, hold on before psionics because we have to talk alignments. Well, we're not going to do psionics today.
No. But the reason I want to look at
No.
psionics, because
That's a
this is if you
cliffhanger
have
for next
psionics.
week. That's a cliffhanger for next week.
No,
Yes,
I'm reading it right now.
it's a cliffhanger for next week.
No, it's
Don't
not.
spill.
I'm reading it right now. You know why? Because we talk about Esper, and you only have a 60 to 100. You have to roll between a 60 and a 100 to even be an Esper, to even take the class, which is fine. But now I know, and now we all know.
See, that should have been for next week.
No,
people would have come back. They'd have been like, "Oh my God, how do we do this?" And we'd be like, "Next week, you got to learn storytelling." Jesus. Yeah. So anyway, the final point on this that I want to make was just to reiterate the fact that he's like, you can use whatever system you want. This was a system that he uses, even though this system, with maybe some minor changes, because I don't remember the exact numbers, has pretty much just permeated through all the editions, like through riffs and everything. So, and I think it's workable. I tweak it, but I think everybody does, and there's nothing wrong with that. Finally, we have alignments. Design note. Hey, here's a fun fact. Even though alignments are an important part of creating a player character and are mentioned throughout the original Mechanoids invasion, they did not see print in that book. Apparently, space limitations prevented me from including them in the first book and plan to include them in the second book, The Journey. There's a note to this effect buried in the psionic section. However, I apparently forgot or ran out of space again, so alignments don't appear in book 2 either. How's that for a whopper of a mistake? See the alignments in the homeworld section. So yeah.
All right. But I imagine it's going to be the same as it. Now when we do go over psionics, the cool thing is anyone can be a psionic. You don't have to be an Esper. You can also be a psionic and be something else.
Yep. You roll on the table and
you are or you're
best.
not. And you get a certain amount of level, but we will go over that next week.
Yep. Now to answer the question, if you're talking this specific game, no. The reason we're covering this game is because it is the first of the first of the first of the first. It's a first.
It is the first Palladium game ever.
Yeah. And we are doing Year of Palladium books, and it just seemed wrong to start with Palladium Fantasy when this was actually first.
Actually, the first. Yeah.
So, yeah, and I'm enjoying the read so far. And obviously, I learned a thing or three today about. I learned a term, Dwazatep, or whatever the hell that was, Dwazameter, and I learned that. All of the armor in this is what's now called natural armor. So, so learning some things. I'm enjoying this read through. Like, it's so different. Like, when I have an assumption, all of a sudden the sentence will come up, or whether Heathen Dog reads it, or we have to backtrack for a moment. Be like, oh, hold on, this paragraph right here. Oh, that's different. Yeah. So I'm liking this. I don't know if I'd play it in this format, but I like it. Though the only thing I don't like about this version of the game is I don't like how the O.C.C. skills and the O.C.s are written up.
Yeah, it is a little clunky looking. Yeah, Riffs and Riffs does it a lot better.
But I mean, that's also the benefit of having a decade or more of design experience.
Right? Yeah, okay, fair. That's completely fair. But Riffs does have a better format for the O.C.C. skills and the secondary skills and all that stuff. All that stuff. It has a better format. It looks better, but it's functionally similar.
This is how do I say this? People don't want that. You do, I do, but generally speaking, people complain. And I've done some research on this because I'm writing my own setting agnostic game, or I was until I decided to write 3 other ones. And I come to find out as I'm going through Kickstarters and Indiegogos and people presenting just the next iteration of whatever game, most people don't want that. And I don't know if it's laziness, lack of time, lack of imagination. I know this all sounds negative, or just the fact, like, look, man, I don't want to put together a world. I want to find something interesting and run it. But if you don't have a setting, associated with your game, people don't want to buy it. Now, I know somebody's going, what about Savage Worlds? Well, it kind of comes with a setting of some degree. There are some out there that have been successful, but generally speaking, no. But I do agree. The other problem with this, as I've found out by making a not clone of Palladium, is that the books are so different. One book, and Heathen Dog actually has a pretty decent explanation for this because I was complaining about it. Like one book will say computer operation is 64 plus 4. The next book will say it's 80 plus 2. And the next book will say it's 40 plus 5. And you're just like, pick one. But a lot of that has to do with, think about it. Heroes Unlimited is more of a high-tech world. It's more of a modern type world, right? Rifts is a post-apocalyptic world. You don't got the internet.
No.
Necessarily. So computer operation is a little bit different. So it makes it a little bit more difficult in that regard. But I agree with you, Weird Guy. Unfortunately, most people, if you're thinking on a business level, you've got to put a setting with it. And even with my not Kelowna Palladium that I'm making, I'm putting a setting with it. It's one of two settings. I haven't decided which one I'm going to go with. That'll be determined later. Not if you're in Rifts, you don't.
Yeah.
And internet is spelt with a capital I, moron.
No, but internet is not.
Oh, that's fair. Okay, you know, when you're using fake words, then okay.
There you go. See, fake words have different rules.
Yeah, earthed on that one.
Leet
baby.
Speak,
bitch. Anything else that we want to address in the chat? Let's see. Some of those are the same mistakes. Don't know about the nukes. I'm not reading that one. See, I played the game several times. Yeah, again, haven't played this one. Have played other Palladiums. I've played Palladium Fantasy. Played. We already mentioned this, but Palladium Fantasy, Robotech, TMNT, After the Bomb, Heroes Unlimited, which to be honest, not my thing. But I'm not a superhero guy. That's just it. Although I do like the system, generically speaking, and of course Rifts. I think everybody's played Rifts. What have you played? I know you played a ton of Rifts.
Oh, yeah.
Ran a ton of Rifts.
Yep. Rifts, Robotech, Scrapers.
Well, Scrapers is just Rifts.
Well, it's SDC based.
Yeah, I guess, but it falls in the Rifts universe, so it's weird.
Well, no. It's
a Rifts world book, isn't it? Could have sworn when I was looking it up, it was a Rifts world book.
Let me go get it.
I might be, but yeah, it was definitely more SDC based. Some of the better RPG systems and settings become, an X-ray linked. I don't know if it comes before or after. Yeah, I like the idea of having a system, like a GURPS type thing, and you do your own. But then it's really hard to get people to play because they don't know what they're looking at. I hate that. I hate that somebody can't just say, "I've got an imagination, and I'll figure it out." Yeah. See, and
yeah, it's Rifts Dimension Book 4. It's not a book; it's a Dimension book.
Yeah, and I only know that because I was looking up a lot of stuff for writing my game. In fact, you're the one that said get Scrapers, and I almost did until I looked it over. I was like, it just isn't going to suit the purposes. Aliens Unlimited suited the purposes better than anything else.
Okay, all right.
So, he just looked it up and said it's Rifts Dimension Book 4.
Yep. I didn't pull it off the shelf. I just read it. I read the spine off the shelf, and it said Rifts Dimension Book 4 Scrapers. So there you go.
Oh. All right. Well, that's the first one. This went a little bit longer than I had hoped. I got to get the timing down on this a little bit better. I'm actually trying to keep these to about an hour. Thing is we got to read through it. I mean, that's just the point of the segment one. We've got to read through it. And, we're going to have some side conversation. We're going to talk about...
I tried to pull you back from side crap so much.
No. But chat is important. We're here to engage with
you. Yeah, but man, you gotta let those bitches be sometimes.
Nope. We're here for chat. And the main thing, what's going to be different about this one, and probably the second one, the Palladium Fantasy, because it's going to go back to what would be more traditional Palladium that we know, is the differences. And there's so many differences.
Yeah.
And
just
maybe at some point
alone is huge.
Right. Yes. So we're going to point those things out. Now, once we start getting into things like Heroes Unlimited, sure, we're still going to have to cover the attributes simply because of the fact that we don't know what other people have watched, but we're going to spend less time on that and then spend more time on what is tech. I forget all the classes in there. What is an alien? What is a tech expert? What is
Right. And what I want to focus on in the attributes is what I think are the important attributes for this particular supplement, this particular game. Like in Mechanoids, high mental endurance and physical prowess, those are probably your two most important. In fantasy, physical strength's gonna be important
Strength.
because you're bashing people with clubs and axes and swords and shit. It's gonna be more important overall than ME is gonna be. And
Well,
in
ME,
Robotech,
don't you have psychics and we had more mages and
yeah,
psychics. Aren't there
you do,
Okay.
but you know, in Mechanoids, every enemy is a psychic. So
Fair.
yeah,
Fair.
obviously. And in Robotech, IQ and physical prowess are the two most important stats throughout the entire game, because you are a Veritech or a Destroid pilot. This is the physical prowess is going to be the most important thing, and IQ is going to be next, because you are going to have the higher skill numbers out of the gate, and it's great. Weird guy, thank you for the $5, appreciate it. But I want to see how the other ones turn out, like TMNT. Do they also have specific things that are more important? Beyond the supernatural, is it going to be ME? Is it going to be something else?
See, I don't even
In
know.
more modern games, I think that MA and physical beauty may take a more of a front seat role,
Really?
because you're interacting with more people and less monsters. So it may become more important. That trust intimidate, or that trust believe, might actually become, you know, more relevant, therefore more important as a stat. Who knows? We'll find out.